Good evening, everyone. This is Brendan Magnan, Chair of the Milford Inland Wetlands Agency. I'd like to call to order the December 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the agency. This evening, we're expecting Mr. Field and Mr. Gradwell to be excused. Lisa, could you please call the roll?
Dan Bedecker,
Here.
Ranjit Bahav, Brian Black,
Here.
Jim Connors, Matthew Connors,
Here.
Steve Munson, Nick Ritchie,
Here.
Julie Valvo,
Here.
Brendan Magnan.
Here. Thank you, Lisa. We do have a quorum, and as we get started, we'd like to announce some statutory reminders. So in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, this meeting will be recorded or is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford website. It is being broadcast on YouTube as we speak. Please use the Zoom features to be recognized by me. Just raise your hand and I will acknowledge you. Once I acknowledge you, for those members of the public or the applicant team, just state your name and address before making any comments. And of course, speak only to the purview of the agency. At this time, Mary Rose, could you please show the flag? And I'd invite everybody to unmute themselves and join me in standing and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. You said that in quite good unison. Okay, at this time, I'd like to see the agenda, and I believe it's public comments. Is there anyone here from the public wishing to address the agency on topics not otherwise on the agenda? I don't see anyone. So we'll proceed with item 1. Mary Rose, could you please introduce D1, please?
Item D1 is 250054. It's 470 to 488 Wheelers Farms Road. It's a proposal by Wheelers Farms Developers LLC for redevelopment of a mixed-use community with construction and grading and mitigation work in and within 150 feet of a wetland and watercourse in the Weppawag River watershed. Excuse me. City engineer and I met with the applicant's team last week and reviewed the revised plans. Those final plans were received late last Friday, and the city engineer's review of those plans was in the meeting documents this afternoon. City engineer had one recommendation that was wetland focused to show the erosion controls on the offsite drainage structure that they'll be clearing on DOT property. Those were received this afternoon, and I can show them to you, or the applicant may be showing them to you. Please note that Mr. Connors has entered the meeting. Jim Connors.
Thank you, Mary Rose.
This evening we have Patrick O'Leary and Darren Overton representing the project.
Anything else, Mary Rose, or can I turn it over to the applicant team?
I think you can turn it over to the applicant team.
Okay, great. I do see Mr. O'Leary, Mr. Overton, and Ms. Fogarty present. Thanks for coming back before us. Thanks for the work you've done on behalf of the city engineer. If perhaps you want to introduce yourself, Mr. O'Leary, and take us through the modifications and where we stand, that would be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patrick O'Leary, Vice President of Development for Continental Properties. I am a PE here in the state of Connecticut. I am the applicant for the application we're reviewing this evening on behalf of Wheelers Farm Development Partners, LLC, and Wheelers Farm Development, LLC. We've been working with the engineer, Mary Rose, and staff over the past, I believe it's about 8 weeks, along with receiving comments from the commission on the application here. We certainly appreciate the comments, particularly the comments regarding strengthening the soil erosion controls around the wetland area during construction. We realize this is a resource for the community, but it's also an important resource for the development of this project. And the additional care in providing a belt and suspender system for the soil erosion control around that wetland really does make sense. It's an important component. As you see, it sits right in the recreation area for the age-targeted buildings, and we do want to put our best foot forward in protecting those wetlands. To that end, we went back and reinforced, strengthened the soil erosion controls, adding silt fence, hay bales to provide further protection. As I said, a belt and suspender system there, as well as providing a water quality unit for the stormwater coming out of the garage prior to entering into the wetland resource area. We also moved around landscaping to provide better snow storage capacity and find areas where the snow would not interfere with the new plantings. We did receive comments, a couple comments from Mary Rose regarding some of the existing outfalls that aren't being changed. There are existing drainage systems. You can see them to the right. And a suggestion was made by one of the commissioners that we may want to look at those and consider some further soil erosion controls there. So what we've done is incorporated a scour pool along with a level spreader to take any sediments out and then spread the water uniformly for sheet flow moving down throughout. In addition to that, we've also added soil erosion control protection to what would be the northwest corner of the site. It's actually off-site along the Merritt Parkway per the engineer. One note, of course, we will be providing, the site is subject to an OSTA certificate currently. We will be providing DOT with a request for an administrative determination. This will be reviewed by their drainage section. They may choose to further enhance or modify some of our recommendations here. And of course, anything they change on it, we will accordingly modify the soil erosion control plan to protect that area. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, I would like to turn it over to Darren to provide a little more detail on these elements and then turn it back to you and the commission for any questions. Hopefully we've satisfied everybody's concern, and it's been a pleasure working both with this commission and the staff over the past 8 weeks. We hope we have fulfilled and completed all plans and expectations, and possibly will be considered for action this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. O'Leary. Go ahead, Mr. Overton.
Good evening, everyone. Just going back to this graphic.
Sorry, Mr. Overton, just introduce yourself for the record, please.
Sorry, I apologize. Darren Overton from SLR Consulting, a licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut and principal design engineer for the project. Mary Rose had forwarded us some additional concerns from the commission regarding these two outfalls. This is an existing outfall that serves part of Wheeler's Farm Road and the site driveway. There's an existing cross culvert here that serves one basin that we are actually replacing. And replacing that, part of the water quality improvements, we're going to add a hood onto that new basin. We provided two riprap scour holes, as Patrick had mentioned. These will provide an area for the water to slow down coming out of those pipes, allow for some sediment to settle out. And then, you know, they're open areas that can be observed on a yearly basis or a periodic basis, so the sediment can be removed. In my field visit, I also noticed on this channel coming out that there is some erosion. It's not noted on this graphic, but we did note on our design plans to enhance or add some riprap. There's riprap that comes out of the existing discharge, and then it sort of ends, and that's where there's a little bit of an eroded channel. So we're going to extend that riprap down and stabilize that channel. Eventually the grades flatten out where riprap armoring is not needed. And then it just fans out into the wooded area here. The same thing for this discharge. There's a little bit of a channel at the outlet. There's actually a 12-inch tree right at the discharge of the flared end. We're going to remove that tree, clear out some of the brush there. There's no erosion at this area, but then eventually that just kind of fans out through a broad valley and makes its way down to the wetland resource that's on the site. Also, as Patrick had mentioned, we've reinforced the erosion controls here. We put a double row here at the pond that will go in place in the initial part of construction and stay in place. And then we put a second row in here that we've noted potentially be moved by the contractor as construction proceeds. It can be moved up near the foundation to start with, and then back further towards the pond as the amenity spaces are constructed. So we've reinforced. There's also additional ENS controls that aren't shown on this graphic. We've just shown the ones that we've kind of added or enhanced as part of the concerns of the commission that were addressed at previous meetings. Last thing I want to do is just go over one of the town engineer's comments. When I originally responded, or my team responded, I didn't realize the level of detail that the engineer was looking for in regard to this. We had called out some erosion controls to be placed as part of the clearing of debris at this inlet. But when the official letter was issued after our review last week, there were still some concerns there. So we created this graphic and thought through this a little bit more, actually put somewhat of a sequence on here. So just for a little background, there's an existing drainage discharge pipe that we're maintaining here. There's 3 riprap swales that come together and lead down to a head wall where there's a reinforced concrete pipe that runs under the state highway and discharges to the river on the other side. This inlet is clogged with debris almost up to the top of the pipe. And there's also debris that's in the depression here. This depression acts as a little bit of a stormwater management area. And also the chain link fence that borders the property has also fallen down. A tree has fallen on it, and then there's debris that's collected there. So we're going to clear that out. The NS controls we added, once the debris at the actual culvert is removed, we're going to install a row of hay bales there while the contractor is continuing to do the work. And then as this material is removed, the extents of the tree debris, the sediment that's there, the contractor will be stabilizing this, replacing the riprap in the channels, and then putting down erosion control matting so that this is immediately stabilized when they finish the removal of the debris. We envision this work can likely be done in a day, but we did put a note on here that basically no exposed soils are to be left overnight. And we envision that once the riprap and the erosion control blanket are in place, that it's going to be fully stabilized. And we did note that, of course, that this is all in the DOT right away, and it's going to have to be carefully coordinated with DOT. So we've added a level of detail. This will live on the plans going forward, but we've provided this graphic for tonight to discuss with the commission for how we have specifically addressed that remaining comment with the town engineer. So with that said, happy to take any additional comments or questions and address them. But that's it for the detail for tonight. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Overton. So turning it over to the agency, and for the record, Mr. Munson has joined. Good to see you, Mr. Munson. Let's see. So my only observation would be to Mr. O'Leary and to Mr. Overton that you've done an impressive job of addressing the concerns. Thank you very much for the way you've been very clear and transparent about that in working with the staff and this agency. Question that comes to mind relative to the signage. Did you guys address the signage concern? I think you did, but can you just summarize that quickly?
We did add a sign in the area of the pond. I believe the location we picked is here near these entrance walks. There's a sign that is proposed. There's a detail on the plans that will call out to any visitors, the habitat areas, noting some of the restoration work that's being done, and will also, allow visitors to better understand the habitat that they see before them.
Great. Thank you for acknowledging that. Any questions from the agency?
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Connors.
You basically asked the question I was interested in, the signage. I'm just curious, is it possible just to add into that signage some sort of terminology, just basically stating if they could just stay on the path and not, venture out into the wetland?
Yes, I see no reason why we couldn't add that.
Okay, great. Are there any other outstanding questions, Marrows, that you believe haven't been addressed?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I believe the last item that the city engineer had was a question on infiltration calculations. And in further discussions today with Mr. O'Leary and with Greg, it sounds like they were very conservative in the way they calculated things. They're going to run those numbers again. They believe they've met the standard by the state. The city engineer is satisfied that they've conquered the peak volume. The manual requires also the water quality, but it sounds like they've done it. They just undercalculated all their numbers to be conservative.
And so the key is the city engineer is satisfied with the design as presented. Is that correct?
Yeah, he'll talk to them about that as they get to zoning. But his final report was he wanted the erosion controls as shown on the DOT property, and we have that cut sheet now. And he has a few things about they're still examining floor drains in the parking garage. We have those notes on the plans, and that will come forth as they get into construction and addressed at that time.
Okay, great. So unless there's any questions, I'd entertain a motion from the commission.
Do accept.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Mr. Connors?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion on the floor and a second. We have a draft motion with stipulations. Who's prepared to read that for us? Is that something you want to do, Mr. Connors?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, after duly considering all relevant factors, I move to approve application IW-25-0054 470-4888 Wheelers Farm Road based on the plans entitled Wheelers Farm Proposed Mixed-Use Development, 470-488 Wheelers Farm Road, Milford, Connecticut, by SLR 57 sheets dated 9/26/25, revised 12/12/25, and topographic survey, Crown Corporate Campus, property located at 470, 472, 476, 478, and 488 Wheelers Farm Road, Milford, Connecticut, by Lewis Associates, dated 9/27/2024. The information in the file and presented this evening for the following reasons. This action will have no impact or effect on the physical characteristics of the adjacent wetlands and watercourses, with conditions including the permittee must submit a construction plan prior to taking out the permit, soil erosion and sedimentation controls as outlined on the plans, and the Connecticut DEP 2024 erosion and sedimentation control guidelines must be installed and maintained on the site and all work areas until they are stabilized. Wetland notification to be placed on the as-built to give notification to property owners that permits are required from the MIWA to work on the site. Documentation to be submitted to the MIWA office prior to bond release. Compliance with the city engineer's stormwater and erosion control requirements. Stormwater treatment must be installed as approved on the plans unless any changes are approved in writing prior to making that change. The operations and maintenance manuals for the stormwater collection and mitigation systems are to be prepared and recorded on the city Milford land records with the property documents. The owner/person responsible for the erosion and sedimentation controls must do weekly inspections and within 48 hours of a significant precipitation event. 1.5 inches in a 24-hour period would be that event. Issued noted with the erosion control must be addressed within 24 hours of the inspection. A draft calculation for the construction and mitigation bonds must be submitted for review a minimum of 90 days before taking out the permit. Proposed mitigation monitoring criteria for success to be submitted to the MIWA office for review and approval a minimum of 90 days before installation. Proposed wetland educational signage to be submitted to the office for review minimum of 90 days before installation. A permit construction bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA for S&E controls, border plantings, and an as-built showing finished 2-foot contours and locating all site structures. A mitigation monitoring bond to be calculated must be posted with the MIWA prior to site disturbance for mitigation plantings and a minimum of 3 years of mitigation monitoring by a professional wetland scientist with reports to the MIWA at the initial planting and at least twice a year for a minimum of 3 years. Report to include the status of the site and any recommended corrective actions or amendments to the mitigation plan for best stabilization of the site. If there is recommended corrective action, there must be an inspection and a report by the professional wetland scientist within 1 week of the corrective action being taken. If the site has not met the criteria as outlined in the plan by or at the end of the year 3, this bond may be held for an additional 3 years or until such time as the site meets the design criteria, whichever is later, with reports continuing twice a year to confirm status. The permittee must submit a certification by the project engineer that the completed project meets the design intent of the approval prior to bonds being released. The permittee must submit a certificate. The permittee is issued 12-17/2025 and expires 12/17/2030 unless otherwise provided by statute. That is my motion.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Connors. Yeah, so the permit is issued 12/17. That would be today, 25. Thank you. And we do have Julie's, Ms. Valvo's second on the motion. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing no discussion. Lisa, roll call vote.
Dan Bedecker,
Aye.
Brian Black,
Aye.
Jim Connors.
Yeah.
Was that a yes, Jim?
Yes.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Steve Munson,
Abstain.
Nick Ritchie,
Aye.
Julie Valvo,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Mr. O'Leary, Mr. Overton, Ms. Fogarty, thank you so much for presenting the application, as I said earlier, the way you have, and all the great work you did with this, with the agency. Thank you to Mary Rose and Mr. Pulowski, and special thanks to the commissioners for all the great questions that came out of the process to make this a better application. Good luck with your project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and a happy and safe holiday to you, all the commissioners and the staff. Thank you again.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Rose, do you want to throw up the agenda again?
Yep. Hold on a second. If we can find it, there it is. There we go.
Great. Let's proceed with item 2, please.
This is E2 IW 250061 460 Bick Drive. This application is a proposal by Garden Homes Management for a 76-unit 830G development with approximately 12,580 square feet of work proposed within 150 feet of an offsite wetland. The applicant has met with the applicant received a letter this afternoon from the city engineer requesting additional information and clarifications on the plans. They had submitted some revised plans in last Friday, but the engineer found a few other things that need to be addressed. I spoke with attorney Tom Lynch this afternoon, and he will be working with his team to get those revisions done over the holiday. He's not sure that he'll make the meeting on January 7th, but he's sure that he'll have everything together for the January 21st meeting if he does not meet the 7th.
Great, thanks, Mary Rose. Are there any further questions that the agency may have thought of that you want to put on the record now following the initial presentation from the last meeting? If not, we can take no action and we can move on to the next agenda item. Mr. Ritchie, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, just something that Mr. Attorney Lynch said at the previous meeting, that this was a court case or something like that. Would that have any relevance on this application now, or?
It was a court case in zoning. They initially had come in 10, 12 years ago for a apartment complex. And that had gone through the 830G process with zoning, and it went up to the land use court and was approved, but was never constructed.
Okay.
So they've come back, they revised the plan. Concepts look good. There's some details that need to be fleshed out.
Did that answer your question, Mr. Ritchie?
Yes, it did.
Great, thank you. Okay, if there's no further questions or discussion, we could take no action. Let's move on to item E. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as distributed?
Yeah, I'll grant that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Mr. Black made the motion, Mr. Ritchie seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Lisa, roll call vote.
Dan Bedecker,
Aye.
Brian Black,
Aye.
Jim Connors. Jim,
Yeah.
Jim,
He's on mute. There you go.
Yeah, it won't come off mute. Now I lost everything.
You're fine. We hear you now.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You said yes?
Yes.
Okay. Matthew Connors,
Abstain.
Steve Munson,
Abstain.
Nick Ritchie,
Yes.
Julie Valvo,
Yes.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, Lisa.
Just a moment, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bahav has joined the meeting.
Okay, great. Mr. Bahav, do you want to cast a vote on the motion that's on the floor, which is to approve the minutes as distributed?
Yes.
You're voting in favor, correct?
Sorry?
You're voting in favor of the
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank
Got
you.
it.
Motion has been approved and passed. Next up on the agenda is staff report. Mary Rose.
To keep it brief in the spirit of the holiday, the mayor's office is working on commissioners' appointments and reappointments. Emma is aware that you're all interested. Those of you who are interested are returning. If your term's up, you should receive something in the mail around before the 5th of January. The aldermanic meeting is the 5th. If you wish to attend, you can be sworn in there. If not, before the meeting on the 7th, you'll need to touch base with the city clerk. You can either go into the clerk's office during the office hours, which are 8:30 to 4. And in some instances, he can join you on a Zoom meeting and swear you in Zoom. So please let him know how you'd like to do that. I still need to update my notes. I apologize. It's been a little busy in the office, but I would like to thank everyone for their time and dedication this year. It's been a long year volunteering for the city. I appreciate all the effort that each of you have put in to ensure that the wetlands applications are appropriately reviewed under the statutes and fairly run out through our regulations and statute. I don't know if you have any questions for me. I'm sorry, there's no cookies. It would have been nice if I delivered them by hand, but I didn't. Sorry.
Sorry, Mary Rose. What date did you say that they're doing the in-person swearing in?
It's January 5th. It's the first Monday of the month.
Okay, thanks, Mary Rose. As chairs, under the chair's report, I really just wanted to take a moment and recognize Mr. Munson. I think we all would like to give our appreciation for Steve's dedicated years of service, 24 years of service to the agency. So, Mr. Munson, as we wrap up the end of the year, it's appropriate to give you a big thank you for the due diligence that you provided through those years, your dedication and commitment to the process. I personally have seen it in my years of service. I've learned from you, and I've really always appreciated your dedication and your due diligence. You always came to the meetings prepared with good questions. So thank you for your service and for all of, your commitment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, 24 years. And quite honestly, I've learned a lot. And you, by the way, I think have done an extremely good job. And I think all the commissions, I think it's a great group. And I think you guys, I haven't been able to be active for a while. I did follow events as I could. I think you guys did a pretty good job on Buick Avenue. That was a tough one. You've seen those before. And as always, Mary Rose. Somehow I'm always amazed that you put up with us. It's been great, and it's been a real pleasure. Unfortunately, events and things I need to get done. I mean, I just can't continue that this time. Maybe in the future, but I will follow things.
Good.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. It really has. You still got Jim there. He's got the historical memory of the of what's
Jim,
been going on.
Jim, you've got to unmute yourself because I need to hear some.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, I need to hear some wisdom and some reflection.
It's been a pleasure serving with Steve for all these years. We've been a lot of meetings together.
Yeah, we saw a lot of things come and go. Been interesting. It's good. Good thing they still got you, Jim.
Yeah, you got me for a while.
Yeah,
That's
good.
great. Yeah, no, Jim, I'm sure, please, if you want to say anything additional or anyone else would like to say anything additional, this is the time to do it. Mr. Munson is here. So by all means, don't be shy.
No, Steve and I have seen a lot of people come and go.
This is as good a group as I've seen, actually. There's
Yeah.
a great deal of talent, and everybody brings their own perspective, and that's
It's so nice to hear from somebody.
Also keeping
we,
an open
we have
mind.
no animosity on the board right now.
I was just gonna say thank you, Steve, and just reiterating too. Your perspective will be missed on the board for sure. So I appreciate all the time you put in.
Yeah.
There's certain things we can always count on Steve to ask. So I think I will make an observation that there's certain people on the agency who will pick that up that have heard him ask questions like, is there public interest? Right?
Yeah.
Or been those kind of questions that you would always ask on the complicated applications. So
yeah, well, sometimes questions ask themselves. I mean, there's a real, I don't know, things arise in the middle of if I hesitate to give advice, but my thing has always been just remember that every situation is different and keep an open mind. That's the key, I think, to doing the job.
You actually really kind of went down the path I was going to go down. I was going to ask you, what are the one or two things you would recommend we keep in mind as we continue to serve? I think you answered it, but anything more?
No, I'm good.
Keep in mind. I'm very proud of the agency. We've all been trained, unlike other agencies in the state. There is a mandatory or statutory requirement that starting in 2026, keep me honest here, Mary Rose, but I think it's one member of the agency must be trained, or is it all?
It's always been that one member must be trained. Starting in January, all of you will have to be trained once per term or once every 4 years. And since we have 3-year terms, you can hit that any way you want. If you're just starting a new term, you can be trained and you have to deal with it until the beginning of your next, a year into your next term. Taft and I will keep track of that in the office, and I'm sure you'll be tired of me talking about it. The training is the online course. It's roughly 10, 12 hours, depending on how you do it. Hasn't changed. It's the same course you took already. They're trying to do some in-person training, but getting funding for that and getting folks around it has been a little difficult. So if they can drop that to Cacuic or the conservation districts with some support with personnel to do, they used to go out, Steve did training where they go out and dig an excavated pit and you climb in the pit and identify the soils. I think Jim probably did that too. So it's good to get in the field and actually touch and see and do it that way.
Great.
We'll keep you posted.
Well, we're very well positioned is really the point I was making. And great. Well, thanks, Steve, again, for all your work and dedication and for coming tonight.
It's been a pleasure. It really has.
It means a lot.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank
Nice to see you, Steve. Didn't have enough time with you.
Hopefully in the future.
Oh, all the best. All the
I
best.
may return.
Oh, please.
Never know. Never know. Just got to get some things out of the way. That's all.
That's great.
Take care of those.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care of them. That's important. All right. Well, my last comment would be just wishing everyone a very, very warm and prosperous New Year, warm holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Have a great holiday season. See you next year. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll
Who
call.
was that? Who was that the second?
Brian Black.
Okay, sorry.
Roll call vote.
Dan Bedecker,
Aye.
Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Brian Black,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Steve Munson,
All right.
Nick Ritchie,
Aye.
Julie Valvo,
Aye.
Brenda Magnan.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Happy holidays,
Thank you.
everybody.
Happy
Thank you, everyone.
holidays.
Merry
Enjoy
Christmas.
Very merry, everybody. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye.
Lindsay, we're all done.